If you're seeing this, you're likely aware of the growing threats beyond our world. I'm Dr. Elara Vos, Senior Xenobiologist with the Earth Alliance Department of Extraterrestrial Threats. My team and I have spent decades on the edges of known space, cataloging and studying what we call deep space anomalous life forms. Monsters, by any other name. Space isn't empty, far from it. There are things out there that challenge everything we understand about life, motive, and even survival. 5 of these entities are so powerful and so hostile they're classified as Priority 1 threats by the Alliance. And the worst part? They're closing in, faster than we anticipated. On May 17th, 2937, the Earth Alliance encountered something entirely unexpected in Sector 9X12. On the edges of the Orion Nebula, an Alliance probe, the Endurance, was on a standard survey mission when it detected a faint, pulsing energy signature. At first, the creature appeared as a massive, semi-transparent entity, resembling a ghostly, oversized blanket with billowing tendrils and a faintly glowing core. Scientists later named it the Lamentor, due to the overwhelming feeling of sorrow that seemed to accompany it. When the Endurance approached, its crew began experiencing strange psychological effects. Mild unease quickly grew into despair. Many of the crew resorted to madness. Johara Napleton, captain of the Endurance, remarks, "It feeds on our emotions. It feeds on our terror. All is strange. It usurps the mind and the soul. We experience terror that is far greater than death. All is lost." This was the final audio transmission from the Endurance. However, the ship continued to transmit its own external and internal readings. It appears that the creature is not hostile in a traditional sense. It didn't attack, and it didn't tear the ship apart, and it didn't release any detectable weapons. Instead, it simply drifted closer and closer, like a ghostly figure moving through a dream, and as it did, the emotions it induced became unbearable. The crew collapsed in fits of grief. Others descended into catatonia. The Lamentor appeared to be consuming the emotional energy generated by its proximity to intelligent life, as if feeding off the very despair it created. This effect grew so powerful that the Endurance's crew, despite their training, found themselves paralyzed by overwhelming sorrow. And then, as the Endurance's systems reached critical failure, the creature simply drifted away, leaving the probe and its nearly catatonic crew in its wake. The reports from the ship's readings confirmed that the creature seems disinterested in physical presence, feeding only on the emotions it had awakened. The Lamentor left behind devastation, not from any physical violence, but from unimaginable despair. Since that day, the Lamentor has been classified as a Class 9 anomalous xenopredator, one that feeds only on powerful sentient emotion. It appears to travel aimlessly through deep space, seeking out civilizations, possibly drawn to systems with emotional sentience. Researchers speculate that the Lamentor is the last of an ancient species, cursed to wander space alone, driven by an endless need to feed on the emotions it will never feel. Its drifting path is unpredictable, making it nearly impossible to track or intercept. Though it cannot be destroyed, there is one defense against the Lamentor: a strong collective will. When sentient beings unite in hope and courage, the creature recoils, as if repelled by their great strength. It is a rare defense, an uncommon defense, but one that has saved entire crews from its grip. The Lamentor is a cosmic tragedy, a creature born from despair, feeding on it eternally, and leaving only sorrow in its wake. It is not a predator we can outgun or outmaneuver, but one we must resist, with unity and with courage. Hail the Alliance. In the depths of the void, where the starlight dies, where shadows drift and silence sighs, there dwell the things we dare not know, ancient forms that come and go. Be warned, ye travelers bold and keen, the space between the stars is cold and lean. For here the horrors wait in thrall, and to the dark they call, they call. The next creature in our registry is an anomaly of almost incomprehensible scale. We call it the bell wail. It was first encountered in Sagittarius Fringe, near the collapsed remains of the Vortex star, on October 2nd, 2983. The bell wail is titanic. Its body stretches miles across, larger than any of our moons. Its appearance is grotesque, a massive fleshy leviathan, with skin the color of bruised twilight. It has dead, unfocused eyes, and in this way reminds me of the great, ancient earth beast, the shark. But the eyes see nothing, as if long removed from any sense of sight. And then there is its mouth. Woe to any man who views its massive maw. The bell wail is driven by a hunger that seems as ancient as the cosmos itself. Its mouth is a cavern capable of creating a gravitational pull so intense that even ships at a great distance can feel its drag. But there's something else. A great sound. Yes, a sound. Even across a solar system, crews can hear a low, mournful toll. A sound like a massive bell ringing in some deep, forgotten place. This call is almost hypnotic, luring nearby vessels towards its maw. Entire fleets have been lost, their ships inexplicably drawn toward it, caught in a silent march towards oblivion. The bell wail's lure appears to work on a physiological level, drawing in any sentient beings with its resonant bell-like call. Once they're close enough, the gravitational pull becomes too strong, and escape is impossible. We believe it may feed not only on physical matter, but on the life force of those it consumes. What it does with this energy is unknown, but some researchers speculate that the bell wail is using it to sustain an endless journey across the stars. An existence defined by constant, insatiable hunger. But despite its enormity, the bell wail does have one weakness. Engineers from the Earth Alliance have discovered that resonating its call back at a certain frequency can temporarily disrupt its pull, allowing those trapped to break free. It is a small, fleeting chance, but for some, it has meant survival. The bell wail is not merely a predator of ships. Reports indicate that it has devoured entire moons, and in some cases, even small planets. Its gravitational pull is staggering. Once, during its passage through the remote Sargas system, it consumed 3 moons in a single solar day. The bell wail's size, combined with its gravitational manipulation, allows it to pull in celestial bodies as if they were no more than debris. This feeding behavior is rare, usually reserved for isolated, resource-scarce systems where ships and smaller vessels are scarce. In such regions, the bell wail adapts by shifting to what we've termed planetary scale predation. The impact on surrounding systems is devastating. The bell wail's appetite is so vast, its gravitational pull disrupts entire planetary orbits. After its departure from Sargas, scientists recorded orbital shifts in nearby planets, resulting in seismic disturbances, climate instability, and extinction-level events across multiple worlds. It is simple. If the bell wail enters a densely populated system, the consequences could be catastrophic. Not only would it threaten the stability of planetary orbits, but it would also drain entire worlds of resources in minutes. The Earth Alliance considers it a top priority threat for any system it approaches, even if that system has no intelligent life. The gravitational aftermath alone can ruin ecosystems. Should it reach a populated system, the only hope would be a full-scale evacuation before it begins its feeding. The bell wail is more than a threat to ships or lone explorers. It is a cosmic force capable of swallowing worlds and leaving chaos in its wake. In its presence, even the mightiest celestial bodies are reduced to mere sustenance. As it drifts ever onward, its hunger insatiable, its toll resounding across the darkness of space. We of the Earth Alliance must remember, our days may be numbered, when the great bell begins to toll. The next entity on our list is one of the most mysterious and deadly deep space creatures we've yet encountered. We call it the Aura Siancra, named after the world it completely annihilated, the once thriving planet of Aurasia in the Cygnus Expanse. The Aura Siancra was first encountered by an Earth Alliance mining operation. The team had set up an outpost on a nearby moon, harvesting resources from the system. It was not long after that the mining operation was invited to Aurasia Prime for a peacemaking festival, a sign of goodwill to an alien species. The Aurasians were a peaceful people, a happy humanoid race. They were excited by the possibility of collaboration with the Earth Alliance. Unfortunately, it was during this festival that the Aura Siancra arrived. It is a cosmic reaper, a creature that teleports across light years in an instant, appearing suddenly in the skies of doomed worlds. Its first act upon arrival is perhaps the most chilling. It blots out the sun itself. The Aura Siancra's wings are not static. They grow and expand, forming a dense, leathery layer that blocks all sunlight. This living canopy plunges the planet into a state of perpetual darkness, cutting off photosynthesis, disrupting weather systems, and instilling terror among any who witness it. The wings expand like a rapid-growing fungus. This phenomenon is not simply an atmospheric event. The wings of the Aura Siancra secrete unknown compounds as they spread, further destabilizing the planet's environment. The air becomes heavy, oppressive. Witnesses have described a suffocating sense of doom, as though the planet itself is dying. Once the sun is blocked, the Aura Siancra begins its feeding. From its grotesque skin, worm-like appendages erupt, long, tubular growths that descend like invasive roots to the planet below. These tendrils burrow deep into the ground, draining oceans, rivers, and mineral veins at an alarming rate. These appendages are not just tools for extraction, they are alive. Each tendril seems to act independently, seeking out water and resources with terrifying precision. They siphon entire oceans in hours, leaving only cracked earth and dust in their wake. On Aurasia, even the planet's core seemed to shift, destabilized by the Aura Siancra's feeding process. The Aura Siancra's ability to teleport, combined with its sheer size and insatiable hunger, makes it an unprecedented threat. During its attack on Aurasia Prime, the creature drained all water and minerals within 3 standard days. Its leathery canopy remained stretched across the sky the entire time, plunging the world into an eternal night. Perhaps the most unsettling feature of the Aura Siancra is its ability to leave no trace of its presence other than devastation. It doesn't linger to digest its prey. It simply vanishes, teleporting to its next target as suddenly as it arrived. The Earth Alliance has classified the Aura Siancra as a Class X threat, capable of ending all life on any planet it targets. Its wings, its tendrils, its sheer size, they are all instruments of annihilation. It answers no calls and leaves no signs of its next move. All we can do is hope it does not find us next. The next entity we have in our registry is the Seraphim Engine. It is unlike any other deep space entity we've encountered. Equal parts mechanical and organic, it is a massive construct of unimaginable complexity. Some believe it to be a relic of an ancient civilization. Others argue it is a living being, designed for a purpose we cannot comprehend. Whatever the truth may be, its presence spells doom for any who encounter it. The first recorded encounter with the Seraphim Engine occurred in the Theta Aurigae system, aboard the research vessel Eclipse Horizon. The crew detected an unusual energy signature near a collapsing star and approached to investigate. What they found was not a starship or a celestial object. It was the Seraphim Engine. The engine is vast, over 20 kilometers in diameter, with a central core that seems to function as both a power source and a brain. Its outer structure constantly shifts and reconfigures, like a machine rebuilding itself over and over again. What's most alarming is the light it emits, a shimmering, iridescent glow that draws in observers like moth to a flame. The Seraphim engine does not destroy planets or drain resources like the other space horrors. Its danger lies in its ability to manipulate sentient minds. The harmonic tones it emits and the patterns of its light induce an almost religious fervor in those who see it. Witnesses describe hearing whispers in their own voices, urging them to approach the engine. Many cannot resist. The Eclipse Horizon sent a distress signal before the contact was lost. When a salvage team arrived weeks later, they found the vessel intact but completely abandoned. The log files show that the crew had succumbed, one by one, to the engine's influence, willingly entering its structure. No bodies were recovered. The Seraphim engine consumes its victims in a way we still do not understand. What happens to those who enter its structure remains a mystery. However, we do know this. Every vessel that has encountered the engine has lost its entire crew. There have been no survivors. The Earth Alliance has classified the Seraphim engine as a Class X threat. Unlike other cosmic horrors, it does not attack directly. It waits, it lures, it compels. Its mere presence is enough to unravel even the most disciplined minds. The Seraphim engine remains an enigma, drifting through the void, waiting for its next victims. To look upon it is to risk your sanity. To hear its song is to lose yourself. It is not just a machine. It is a siren of the stars, calling out to those brave or foolish enough to listen. The next space entity is known as the Obsidian Bloom. What would you call a creature that thrives in the void, not by destruction, but by overwhelming life itself? We named it the Obsidian Bloom, an unfathomable organism of roots, spores, and decay, spreading its influence across the stars like a cancerous garden. The Obsidian Bloom is an immense plant-like organism with no true central body. It resembles an endless fractal network of black, root-like structures spreading out for hundreds of thousands of kilometers, forming a web that ensnares entire planetary systems. Massive, spiked blossoms bloom periodically along its body, each radiating eerie ultraviolet light. From a distance, it looks like an obsidian-colored flower blooming across the void, but upon closer inspection, its surface teems with pulsating, bioluminescent veins, emitting a faint, disturbing hum. Spores swirl endlessly in its vicinity, forming clouds so dense that they dim the light of nearby stars. Our first encounter. The Obsidian Bloom was first documented in the ruins of the Hadron Verge, an expanse of collapsed star systems near the Perseus Arm. The salvage ship Icarian Trace sent its last transmission while orbiting the shattered remains of planet Eris 4, a once thriving colony world. When the salvage crew approached, they noticed what they thought was volcanic activity, ash clouds, and seismic instability. But as they neared the surface, they realized it wasn't geology. It was life. Alien, invasive, and utterly uncontrollable. The spores were already in their lungs before they had time to react. The Icarian Trace vanished, along with every member of its crew. Follow-up missions found only twisted wreckage and what appeared to be skeletal remains fused into the black roots spreading across the system. The bloom does not destroy, at least not in the way you might expect. It colonizes. The spores it releases corrupt biological and mechanical systems alike, altering their functions to serve its endless hunger for expansion. Any organism that breathes in its spores becomes a host. Any machine that comes into contact with the bloom becomes a mechanical monstrosity. But the bloom is more than a physical threat. It is a psychological plague, a profound terror. Crews who have escaped encounters report vivid hallucinations and an overwhelming compulsion to return to the bloom. Some describe hearing whispers, others the sensation of roots burrowing deep into their minds. Prolonged exposure leads to madness, then death, or worse, assimilation. The bloom's adaptability is unmatched. It can survive in the vacuum of space, spread its spores across light years via gravitational currents, and even pierce planetary atmospheres without any resistance. Once it anchors itself, it grows exponentially, consuming entire ecosystems and reconfiguring them into its own horrifying image. Its true strength lies in its ability to endure. Even if its primary structures are destroyed, as long as a single spore remains, the bloom can and will regrow. Weapons have proven ineffective, and sterilization of an infected system often requires scorched earth tactics, destroying entire planets and rendering their systems uninhabitable. What truly terrifies the Earth Alliance about the Obsidian Bloom is its potential to spread undetected. A single spore could enter an unprotected vessel, lie dormant for years, and then erupt when conditions are favorable. If it ever reaches Earth or any major colony, the resulting outbreak would be impossible to contain. The Earth Alliance has issued standing orders. Any sign of the Obsidian Bloom must be reported immediately. Infected systems are to be quarantined or destroyed, no exceptions. The Obsidian Bloom is not a predator or destroyer. It is a gardener, reshaping the galaxy to its own design. And to the Obsidian Bloom, we are nothing more than fertile soil. Thank you for watching. If you liked this content, please comment, like, and subscribe, and share your thoughts below.